Wow, that was a long break.
So what happens when you're cheap? You have to split things up into two.
You're
All right, so we have one more documented
not
case.
going to do the introduction. You're just going to jump
No,
in.
I'm just gonna jump in.
But I'm Harry Potter, and you're Dumbledore.
You look like a widow.
Black Widow. What's that song in it? Black Widow.
Black Velvet.
Black Velvet. That's it. Who sung that? She was hot. Was that Lita Ford?
I don't know.
I think it was. I don't know, but she was hot.
Okay.
You could see her like sweating and stuff. She needed like to get where an air conditioner was. What hot was you thinking of? I'm Harry Potter, Sherman Potter's grandson from Oogamus, Jeepamus. That means getting the Jeep and drive. Get in your car and drive.
What kind of meds do they have you on? So let's go into this last one, and then you can kind of give us what you've learned. How about that?
Okay, and I will be silent as Harry Potter.
Yeah, shut the hell up.
Hey, I said Harry that time. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's not Henry? I
Not
like
Henry.
Henry Potter. I'm going to be Henry Potter. I like that better. Maybe I should be Henry Porter, the guy from down the street.
All right, I'm gonna
Henry Potter.
I'm gonna jump in because this one's kind of long. This one's probably longer than the first one.
I'm just done. It's okay. Okay.
I think our next show, Dad might be the spirit.
Of Henry Potter from down the street. I worked at the BP.
So
I said B.
what are you on?
Nothing. Just hilarious. Even when I'm sick, I'm even more hilarious because my brain just goes everywhere. Because I'm Harry Potter and I work at the BP. That's the BP.
Lord help us all. Okay.
Okay, let's get.
So this one,
I'm staying over here. Notice I'm keeping distance. Okay, I'm good. Go ahead. I have my mask on. Darth Vader with a pig. I'm your father, dude.
what is happening?
I have no idea. I'm way off track. Okay, go ahead. I've now lost it. Hi, Vandy.
This is
Vandy goes to pig snorting. He comes like bacon, bacon.
the most.
See, bacon, bacon.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay, buddy. He's on mental mom.
All right. So this
What's
is.
the matter, buddy?
He might. Let me let him in.
Okay,
Talk
so
amongst yourselves.
this is the most horrific publicized case of ever in the history of publicized cases.
Oof.
I set it up for you. If this was thick, it could be
So-
a blanket.
This is the most horrific publicized case of exorcism in American history. Theophilus
Did you say
Reisinger
waffle?
versus Satan.
The waffle, the Waffle House.
Theophilus Reisinger versus Satan.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably not going to be a very good match.
This happened in 1928 in rural
Roll?
Iowa in a rural
Roll?
Iowa convent.
She said, roll.
Reisinger performed at least 20 exorcism. My God,
The show prep really kicked it in.
I only had a glass
Roll.
in his lifetime, but the 1928 case became the most publicized in American history. Oh God, I thought I saw a spider.
Oh, I thought it was a dramatic pause. I was
No.
waiting.
The exorcism of Emma Schmidt.
We don't give a shit.
The first time she was exorcised, it was in 1912. She had begun to manifest symptoms of demonic possession at 14. Reisinger performed the rites, and all was well until she was in her 40s, when she again began to experience symptoms. So he says she wanted to pray, wanted to go to church, and as usual, receive the Holy Communion, but some interior hidden power was interfering with her plans. The situation became worse instead of improving. Words cannot express what she had to suffer. She was actually barred from the consolations of the church, torn away from them by force. She could not help herself in any way and seemed to be in the clutches of some mysterious power. She was conscious of some sinister inner voices that kept on suggesting most disagreeable things to her. These voices tried their utmost to accuse, that says arouse, thoughts of the most shameful type within her and tried to induce her to do things unmentionable and even to bring her to despair.
Agony and spur.
So, okay,
You
wait.
remember that from Hee Haw?
No. That's before my time.
Where are you?
Disclaimer, I do not have my contacts in, and
Why
my
did you
glasses
leave me here all alone?
do not fit in with the costume.
I searched the world over and thought I found true love. You found another and you were gone. It's Agony and Despair. That's the name of it. Give Hee Haw a plug. Okay, so this is really getting interesting here.
Okay.
It's kind of like the goat and the Aflac duck in the commercial.
He says the poor creature was helpless and secretly was of the opinion that she would become insane. You cannot imagine the terrible symptoms and feelings that possessed persons have. Strange cats and dogs talk to them in the night.
Wait a minute. I saw this on Malibu's Most Wanted when Snoop Dogg was the rat.
God.
You like my rhymes? No, dog.
They cannot perform their religious duties. They are kept away from the sacraments. They are exceedingly unhappy. While preaching on mission at St. Joseph Parish in Erling, Iowa, Reisinger made an unusual request to Reverend Joseph Steiger. Reisinger wanted to bring the possessed woman from Wisconsin to the parish to perform an exorcism where it would avoid drawing unwanted attention. The Reverend agreed. The woman was placed firmly upon the mattress of an iron bed, Vogel wrote. Upon the advice of Father Theophilus, her arms, sleeves, and dress were tightly bound so as to prevent any devilish tricks. The strongest nuns were selected to assist her in case anything might happen. There was a suspicion that the devil might attempt attacking the exorcist during the ceremony. Should anything unusual happen, the nuns were to hold the woman quiet upon her bed.
I just figured it out. One of the nuns was Bobby Boucher, the Waterboy's mom. Devil, 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 devil. Dick Clark's the devil. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be quiet here.
Soon after the prescribed prayers of the church were begun, the woman sank into unconsciousness and remained in that state throughout the period of exorcism. Her eyes were closed so tightly that no force could open them.
So how long was this period, did it say?
I've got like...
Okay, you're still going. Okay, I was just wondering. Never mind.
We're not even halfway through.
Okay.
But when Reisinger began the rite of exorcism, the woman dislodged herself from her bed and from the hands of her guards, and her body, carried through the air, landed high above the door of the room and clung to the wall with tenacious grip.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
All present were struck with a trembling fear. Father Theophilus alone kept his peace. The attending sisters dragged her back down to the bed and restrained her. Loud howling sounds began to emanate from the woman, not plural, drawing the attention of everyone in the convent. They came to see what was happening, but many couldn't handle it. The physical condition of the possessed presented such a gruesome sight because of the distorted members of her body that it was unbearable. The exorcism lasted 23 days, during which the woman was consistently vomiting things resembling chewed macaroni and tea leaves, though she wasn't actually eating anything, and spoke in numerous voices, making inhuman animal sounds. She seemed to understand languages that she had never heard or read before and foamed at the mouth, enraged when Reisinger spoke Latin blessings over her. She was conscious at once when someone gave her articles sprinkled with holy water on it or presented her with things secretly blessed, whereas ordinary secular objects would leave her perfectly indifferent. When asked how many spirits had possessed the woman, she responded there were many, and that Beelzebub was the leader. Under Reisinger, questioning Beelzebub Beelzebub stated that the woman's own father was the cause of the possession, having cursed the spirits into her, and that they had possessed her under the command of Satan himself. At one point, when Reisinger was asking to speak with the woman's father, whom Beelzebub, why is that so hard for me to say?
It's like rural to you.
Beelzebub
Just
said
say
was
Beetlejuice
with
in
them,
its
a
place.
voice claiming to be Judas, like the Judas, like fuck Jesus over Judas, began speaking instead. When Reisinger asked what business he had with the woman, Judas replied to bring her to despair so that she will commit suicide and hang herself. She must get the rope, she must go to hell. Other voices claiming to be Emma's father, Jacob, as well as his child murdering concubine, Mina, eventually spoke as well. Vogel wrote that during the exorcism, the demonic presence inside the woman began to physically deform her. The woman's face became so distorted that no one could recognize her features. Then, too, her whole body became so horribly disfigured that the regular contour of her body vanished. Her pale, death-like, and emaciated head, after assuming the size of an inverted water pitcher, became as red as glowing embers. Her eyes protruded out of their sockets, her lips swelled up to the proportions equaling the size of hands, and her thin, emaciated body was bloated to such enormous size that the pastor and some sisters drew back out of fright, thinking that the woman would be torn to pieces and burst asunder. At times, her abdominal region and extremities became as hard as iron and stone. In such instances, the weight of her body pressed into the iron bedstead so that the iron rods of the bed bent to the floor. Reisinger said that Lucifer himself appeared during the process. Vogel wrote, once Father Theophilus saw Lucifer standing visibly before him for half an hour, a fiery being. Fiery
Figured it out.
being in his characteristically demonic reality. He had a crown on his head and carried a fiery sword in his hand. Beelzebub. Is it like Beetlejuice if you say it too many times? Stood alongside of him. During this time, the whole room was filled with flames. On December 23rd, 1928, when Reisinger was exhausted and appeared to those around him to have aged 20 years from performing the exorcism for 3 days straight without sleep, the devil finally receded back to hell. The woman stood upright suddenly in her bed, then collapsed. A piercing sound filled the room, followed by repeated names of the demons inside her. This slowly faded away and was replaced by a horrible, unearthly stench. The woman opened her eyes and shouted, "My Jesus, mercy, praised be Jesus Christ." Some sources say the case of Emma Schmidt was the first and last exorcism officially sanctioned by the Catholic Church. While some believe the events are fiction, there are allegedly records documenting it. Also, according to an online source, local Erling legend says that claw marks and solid oak doors can still be seen from the woman trying to escape.
That would be interesting to see. But I have to wonder if somebody went and made claw or marks in the door.
Anything for a buck, right?
I mean, honestly.
Yeah. Woohoo! That plant thing back there scared the hell out of me.
That was actually, that was a cool one. So, what's your thoughts?
So I think it's interesting. I think that some of it may be embellished, but I would need to see the records. I think I would need to see the records, the documents.
It kind of sounded like one of those like B-rated movies, the
Yeah,
low budget movie.
It's like a fabulous ghost story, but
yeah, it's kind of like maybe somebody was shooting a movie and somebody walked in.
I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I'm just saying I don't fully. I would need to see the documentation.
I'm Henry Potter from BP.
Henry Potter is back.
I'm Henry Potter, and I have to say I agree. I concur. So, Aluminous Endemus. That means the show be over.
I thought you were gonna give your portion of it.
Oh no, I was just listening to yours.
Because you didn't do research?
I did some, but my brain is so fried right now. Um, one of the
Cool.
things, one of the things I found interesting about possessions, and I keep going back to this, but
Aliens.
for some reason, every time I research something, I find articles on where people say it's aliens possessing, and I'm like, I'm drawn into that. Why am I so obsessed with
You
this
are
alien
just like
thing?
chomping at the bit to talk about aliens.
Why am I
I
so
think.
obsessed with that? Why does that just intrigue me so much?
I don't know, Dad.
I mean,
I believe I've come unzipped.
let us fix that. Let us fix this thou clothing. This is not that kind of show. Some things a dad never wants to hear. We'll do this. Let's put that over it.
No, it's just the back.
I was
I'm trying
Yeah.
to get the views.
We were doing a show and my daughter just exposed the world.
Woo.
Stop it. Not allowed. But I keep going.
Well, now I just look ridiculous. Because I looked so great before. Oh my god, it's really coming. Wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, let's stop right there though. Let's fix that wardrobe. Some things that Dad never wants to hear on a podcast.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
It's like an Amish stripper. She shows you a finger.
It's hot anyway. It's fine.
So anyway, I don't even know what
It's
I was
just getting
talking about.
looser.
Yeah, I think it's time to end now. So, Endemus Podcamus.
Oh my god.
In the words of Harry Potter or Henry Potter or Sean Connery or whoever the heck it is.
I'm just over here trying to get naked in the body.
In the words of Yoda, there is no naked. Keep your butt dressed. I think that was in Star Wars Part 17 or something.
It's like all the way down. I can
You
feel
need to
the back.
stop.
Look at the back.
Oh my lord!
Oh god.
Here,
Okay.
wait a minute. Here. There. We fixed it. We hair clipped it to make it through the end of the show. An emergency wardrobe.
The hell did that happen?
I have no idea. Maybe we should not talk about this subject anymore. So, anyway.
I gotta sit up because it's really coming down.
Yeah, you need,
Really
we
coming
need-
apart.
let's just the end. Till next time, we'll see ya.